Good morning, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. So, for those of you who are subscribed to my channel, you know that I am going live today right here on YouTube, offering some free clairvoyant readings. Like we all need that clarity. And I hadn't been doing my readings, I think, for a couple of months or something. I took a break from this. I was so busy with other things. However, I'm going to be going live every month right here on YouTube, offering you guys readings. So as you're tuning in, make sure that you let me know what zodiac sign you are. You don't need to let me know your date of birth and sun sign, and all of those kinds of things, because I read into your energy. But I like to know what zodiac sign you are for different reasons as well. And then when you're asking me, be very specific. Like, don't say, what do you see coming up for me? Ask me more of like a specific question. So that way you will get that question answered. And just keep in mind that, anything containing with legal situations, I won't give a lot of feedback on that. Of course, I don't give out a lot of really personal information where I think that it could harm someone or hurt somebody, because that is personal. Like if I saw somebody having an affair, let's just say as an example, I'm not going to talk about that here because that's something very personal. You know what I mean? So there is a limit um, for certain things. So I might word things a little bit differently on purpose. So make sure you guys are tuned in, because right now, for those of you who have been watching, my weekly series, Cosmic Vibes, I had named it Cosmic Vibes on purpose because there's so much energy, like so much energy. Like with me being clairvoyant, I read into everything. Like you have no idea how many messages I get coming through, like from all energies, all beings. I'm also an animal communicator. I talk to your animals that have passed on, your animals who are here, loved ones. I never know what messages are going to come through at any time. What what do I expect in a reading? Well, I have no idea, because I don't know what messages are going to come through. So for those of you who do know me and have booked readings with me, you know how I am. I will say, you know what, I'm seeing this exact date, and make sure it's circled. You circle that, because when I'm seeing a specific number and a specific date, I actually personally circle it on my calendar. It very well could be for me, or it very well could be for you. And when I go back and I look at that date I circled, I'm like, oh my God, like it was something significant. It wasn't like, oh, you need to go grocery shopping. No, 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 no. Right? So make sure you circle the dates, especially whenever I'm saying, what I'm seeing September 10th, let's just say, or like whatever date it is, just circle it, because I will do that. As I mentioned, I'll put a question mark, and then, I'll forget about it. And then that date, and I'm like, oh my gosh, because things happen for a reason. They really do. And sometimes we do have to take, a step back, like even myself taking a step back from doing the monthly personal reads on purpose for a while, because I had so much going on with myself as well. For those of you who know, what was going on with me with my health. So this is also a very prone time, especially with this eclipse season, to really, really pay attention to what is not working, what is like off balance. Because the bottom line with the eclipse, in the end, it really wants to bring things back into balance for you. So this is why we have unexpected situations at any day and second throughout the entire eclipse season. And that started August 24th, and that goes to September 21st. However, it lingers on until the 6th of October. So I've had personally myself unexpected things happening, like, oh my God, right? However, whenever that happens, there's a reason for that. You know, whenever it happens, it's like, okay, so what is this trying to teach me, or what is this trying to show me? Maybe I'm not supposed to do this. Maybe I'm not supposed to go that direction, because the Eclipse wants to redirect you on your path, you know. And this is when it's like, this is why if you go back and you watch that video, ask Eclipse for help. When you do that, you know what? Spirit, I just say spirit because I talk to literally beings and spiritual guides like 24/7. I will say, you know what? I'm really struggling with this. I don't know how to change it, or give me a huge sign, like a physical sign that I need to go a different direction. Or, you know, what do I need to change that is going to help support me in a really positive way? And when you ask, you have to be open to what is being shown to you from the spirit world. You know, let's say, for example, oh, I just found my person, my soulmate and all that stuff. So the eclipse, let's say, starts showing you all of these red flags, just for an example, and you're like, I don't want to see that. I don't want to go through that. You know, this is why we get shown certain things, because the eclipse is like, you know what? We're trying to help you. We're trying to show you that this person or this job or situation or whatever it is, this is going to cause you pain and suffering. You know, sometimes we have to go through that until we're like, I get it. You know, I totally understand it. And it will also help you, bring you more towards your destiny. I mean, even today, the 12th, for those of you guys who watch the series, I will tell you every single day the energy of what to expect, you know, and how to really work through it. Like, I will literally go through my calendar and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to book that appointment on that day, because that day, you know what? Like today, for instance, on the 12th, there's a lot of important incoming messages coming for you to really pay attention to. You know, there's more like soul tribe energy today. So really pay attention to who you connect with, who you talk to, and so on and so on. And if you get like a negative, like message, let's say, coming in, pay attention to that, right? And if it's something where you're like, oh my God, like, wow, I'm really seeing that person's true colors, let's say, pay attention to that, because there's so much truth. I mean, that's just going to continue on, you know, this year and so on. More truth gets exposed, and especially this week, it's going to come out even more. So this is why it's like, oh my gosh, the truth, like, oh my gosh, like, even it was interesting, so-called my medical appointment, I had to get an ultrasound done. And you know, that day, or when was it, a couple of days before, I get a call from them, sorry, we have to cancel that. And it takes forever getting in here where I'm at in Canada, you know, because the tech was sick. And I'm like, why wouldn't you have backup? Like, are you kidding? So anyways, they had to reschedule it. So I finally go, the doctor, and I was just talking about this, about medical doctors getting more exposed and how off it is and all of these things. I go in to get my ultrasound, and the doctor did not check off certain things that he was supposed to have done. And I'm like, oh my God. The tech told me I could phone and complain and all of these. And I'm like, oh my God. So a lot of things are being exposed, right? They can be really frustrating and challenging. However, when this happens, let's just say, I will be like, okay, so these other tests, let's say, that he didn't do, that he was supposed to have done, let me look at that. Let me ask spirit, you know what, do I really need these other tests done? So there's been many reasons, and this is ongoing. This is ongoing. So just make sure you guys really pay attention to your health during the eclipse season. Like, even if it's something small, it's like Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde is the time to get your health looked at, book those health appointments no matter what. So is the eclipse, because you're going to find this upcoming few days when my team puts up the new Cosmic Vibes video, you're going to see just how you guys might be like, you know what? I got to change like my routine. I have to change like my my daily routine with my health, with my diet, with whatever is toxic or whatever. I'm just bored of that. I'm not passionate about this anymore. So, this is why you're going to be like, oh my gosh, you will see certain dates when you look back on my Cosmic Vibes videos, you will see that. Like, oh my God, that was the day. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Seriously. That's why I plan certain things. Like even next week, this week coming up, right? Or next week, I have planned certain things and booked certain appointments for certain things during certain times. And I'm like, do I want to go through this? And I'm like, no. But I'm like, you know what? When we work with the eclipse energy will work with us. You will find that things will flow much better, especially whenever we're freaked out or we're scared or that. It does work better with us. You know what I'm saying? So this is why I do these videos, to help you guys out, work with it. So we have a question here from Laura, who's a Taurus. What do I need to do in order to get my health back in order? Also, will I find a new way to support myself with my health? So this is a perfect question to ask. I was literally just talking about health. So I'm not sure if you were listening for a little while, Laura, but this is a perfect time right now to focus on, what steps do I need to take with my health? You know what I mean? Do I want to change my diet? Am I eating like certain foods that I just don't connect with anymore, or that are not good for me? Boy, this and this and that. Oh my gosh, that didn't work. I literally see that you will start making changes here, Laura. I really, really do. Like, really mark down. This is why I said, if you guys watch my series, Ask the Eclipse for help. Geez, Eclipse, I need help. I'm lost on whatever direction or path. I'm open to receive. The manifesting is so huge right now, and it's like when you do that, all of a sudden, something's going to come up. You might find like something more pranic healing. You might find something more Eastern medicine, like let's say acupuncture. You might find all of these, but really pay attention to, Laura, what you want to change, because I do see that you are literally going to go through like a transformation. I literally just watch your blood pressure, by the way. So I do see that you are going to be making some changes with your appearance. So start marking down, like seriously, what you want to change or what you have worried about, especially as I just mentioned with health. It's like, oh my gosh, I just want to get like blood work done, or oh my gosh, I have, I'm feeling this or that. Get it checked. It's like just book the appointments and get things checked. I would rather book appointments and get things checked just to have that peace of mind. Okay, you're all okay, right? Like I went back to one of my other surgeons last week and they want to book me an MRI for a tumor. So, that you're going to have to wait at least 9 months for that appointment for them to call you and book. And I'm like, really? You know what I mean? But when something is off or you're not, pay attention to that, you guys. You know what I mean? Like work with the energy, don't brush it aside. But I do see that. I do see your health getting back. Start writing things down. You know what? I don't know how or where or all of these things. And then surrender it. Because manifesting is huge, as I mentioned, right? But really take this by stride there, Laura. You can do this. I literally seen really good things. It takes time. I get it. You know what I mean? If we do something too fast, too quick, it can bounce right back and we can be like, oh my God, wow, that didn't work. Slow and steady wins. Certain other situations can be a little urgent, right? So Anna, Pisces, I'm working on releasing. What other things, people or otherwise, still need to be released? Yeah, like, you know what, Anna, I'm literally, there are people around you for sure. And what I'm really hearing, like just immediately right away, whatever you do, don't lend out any money because you're not going to get it back. Right. We can help people and so on and so on. When I give things to people, I don't expect anything back. I donate things all the time or give things away. I'm not saying, okay, so what do I get? No. Right. So really take a look around, because this eclipse energy, it does show you who you're not in alignment with anymore. I mean, like when you're around like soul tribes, you know, it doesn't have to be somebody physically in front of you. Like I have soul tribes all over the world, people I really connect with the heart and so on and so on. You know, you're going to know you're with the right people whenever you feel very comfortable to just be yourself. I mean, no relationships or friendships or whoever are perfect. We're humans. There's going to be disagreements. There's going to be miscommunications. You know, that happens. However, whenever you cannot be yourself and you feel that you're like, boy, I better really, really watch what I say to that person. I better agree with everything they say because they're not going to like me. Oh, wow, I better, no, I'm not going to talk to them about this. Those are not your people. So your people will support you in a positive way. You know, like people can give you advice, not to hurt you, but pay attention to the people that are very controlling and manipulating. And is what I'm really hearing. There's people around you that you really have to look at the past with them. You know, I'm literally seeing another energy around you, by the way, that you're like, you know, I know my family doesn't like this person or my friends don't like this person. Really look at that and reflect back on that. You know what I mean? So some people, it's like, wow, we grow, we evolve. This is why it's important to really pay attention to, wow, you know, did that person truly deeply hurt me? And you know, wow, all of that kind of stuff. Really pay attention to that. And it doesn't matter if it's family or who. This is when it can get very emotional. The eclipse shows the truth. The eclipse shows the truth. Geez, how do I release this? Write it down. I'm always saying to everybody, write it down. The reason being, when we write things down, it releases it from the mind. The mind is like that monkey mind that overthinks like the hamster wheel. And when we write it down, it releases it. And we are physically writing it down. Spirit, universe, I need help with this. That video that I just talked about, when you asked Eclipse for help, go back onto my past Cosmic Vibes videos, you'll see it. You know, ask Eclipse for help. I need help in releasing this. I need help with finding what direction to go, all of those, and then be open for that. So this is the perfect time during this eclipse right now to release what is not working for you, to release what is not in alignment for your higher self. You know, really pay attention. Sometimes we have to retweak something or revamp something or you know, whatever like that. You know, just pay attention to that. It's part of life, but really pay attention to toxic people. You know, especially when you're like, oh my gosh, we're just on really two different paths. You know, whenever I have to let somebody go, let's say myself, I never wish them any harm, ever. You know, I'm just like, wow, we're really not on the same page at all anymore with anything. But I release them with love. I wish them the best, and so on. We all have lessons to learn and go on from and everything. And I would also you know, like forgiveness is so important, and it's only just for you to move forward. You know, it's like if somebody really did something really deeply hurtful, or you're where you feel betrayed or traumatized, let's say, it's really important. You don't have to say to them and you know, like face to face or anything. It's really important for you to say to yourself or to them, you know what, I'm forgiving you only just so I can move on. However, what you did to me was not okay. It was not okay. The only reason I'm letting you go and forgiving you is so I can move on with my own peace of mind. That's it. Seriously. That's, you know, it's the best way to release them. You know, don't wish anybody harm. The world has seen enough. We've been through enough for betrayal and all of that. We don't need to send that negative energy out. Right? So, Laura, another question. Um, is it for my highest good for me to move in with my sister? Um, you know what? Honestly, if you do decide, I don't see it being long term. I see it being more short term. You know, this is the thing where it's like whenever we want to move in with someone, it doesn't matter if it's family or friend or like your person, take a look at where you guys are on how you view things. You know, we can live with opposites and date somebody or marry somebody where there's that opposites, of course, but it all comes down to respect. You know what I mean? I might not agree with you on this situation or that matter, but I'm not judging you. That's your views. I understand that. That's your perspective. However, I'm going to stay true to me, of course, and appreciate you allowing me to move in and everything like that. However, I'm going to go this direction and everything. We all have our own journey, and it's so important to not ever judge anybody. We all have mistakes. We all go through difficulties. So this is how we learn, because if we don't learn from mistakes, we just keep repeating them. And then it's like, well, why isn't it working? Well, let's review what was not working. So you can do that if you want, Laura, but like as I'm saying, it's not going to be for long term. I mean, if it's to do that, to get back on track financially and set goals, always set goals. I talk about that all the time. Like, this is a universal 9-year. Universal 9-year is all about endings, completion. It's all about like more soul connected, really following where your passions are, what you're truly, truly in alignment with. Oh yeah, but my family or my person or my friends tell me that's not the right path for me. You have to live your path and walk on your path that resonates with you. Because if you don't, you're not going to be happy. You're going to live your life to try to make somebody else happy, but you're the one that's going to be crying inside. So it's really important to say, I want to do this. I want to do that. I want to, whatever it is, right? So follow your passions. Like, I do photography on the side, like right here, actually, I took this photo of the blood moon, the full moon blood moon. And because this is about lunar eclipse and energies and this season of the eclipse, I use this as a background. You can check out my photography on Jeni Ji Photography on Instagram. I'm all over the place with that, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying. So hope that gives you a little bit of insight. Write down the good and the bad, write down the pros and the cons of it. And if it's like, what, I don't really want to move in with my sister, but let me take a look at writing myself some goals, some short-term goals, some long-term goals. This is the year to make long-term goals. Like, I have long-term goals myself. Short-term goals, book the hair appointment, let's say. Short-term goals, I gotta like clean out my closet, let's say. Short-term goals. Long-term goals are when you're like, what do I want? Like I'm putting classes together myself, right? So that's not a short-term goal. That's a long-term goal thing, something that I'm working on that's going to take time, right? So this is really important why to do this. Work a little bit by a little bit by a little bit. Where do you guys want to go? What do you want? Where's your passions? Now is the time for manifesting with this energy of the eclipse. Every single day is super powerful with what you want to manifest. So if you're really thinking about something more extreme, the eclipse will amplify that, right? It's like, what, eclipse, I need help with this. And oh God, what do I do? I'm fear over it and all of this. Can you give me signs? Can you, like, all of that kind of stuff? You will be showing signs, and listen to your gut instinct. I mean, you can always book a personal reading with me, and I can give you a lot of huge insights, of course. May I have a general reading? Capricorn, Virgo rising. What question do you have specifically? Everybody has to ask like a more specific question. Like, what do you see with what? Your career, with your relationships, with like what? Do you know what I mean? So whenever we have a different risings, even in our sign, like, let's say, so Capricorn, Virgo, and Leo. So just as an example, let's take a look at, the energy of Capricorn. Let's take up the energy of Virgo. Let's take the energy of Leo and combined all of those things together. Like, I don't do astrology charts, right? I'm more of a clairvoyant. So, just right there, just seeing that general reading, what I'm really seeing and picking up is business. Watch the burnout. Burnout is what I'm hearing. It's like your hard work will pay off. Don't give up. You're being redirected. Really pay attention to certain groups you're involved with, people that you're involved with, like people, not just a person. What's dragging you down? Who's depleting your energy? Right? This is where you have to have that balance because, if not, there's that burnout, which what happens when we get burnt out, it affects our entire health and well-being completely and utterly. And it's not worth it. It is not worth it. I learned that the hard day being in the hospital for 3 weeks with pneumonia. Believe me, took me over a year to get rid of it. Just to give you an example, that was years ago, because it's like you're focused on everything else but yourself. I get it. We all have work, we all have business, all of those things, families and that. However, it's so crucially important to take time out for you. You know what I mean? So it's like really pay attention to your health more than anything right now for that. But just a group, just different groups, people you're dealing with. I just saw a big circle around that, like it like a really big circle around that. It's like a highlight. It's like the moon, right? What can you guys see? You can see the moon. You're not looking at the sky. So it's like I would say highlight, pay attention to certain people groups, more than one person. That is so important. You know what I mean? So we can all really take the time out. We all have to have that time out. Like I will literally, I have my phone with me, but I will literally have the volume on mute because it's like, you know what, I'm going to take time out for me. I'm just going to sit back, let's say, read a book. I'm just going to take time out for me just to kind of sit back and or to like what you know what I mean, like whatever it is. This is so important because whenever you don't do that, things are going to get difficult, and you're going to be like, oh my god, I'm multitasking about a million things, like these things I don't know which direction to go, and it will be harder to see more clarity because there's so much going on in the mind of all of these different things. So this is why the eclipse steps in and will continue to step in, and it can really knock you down. Like, it's like really knock you down. And you're like, why? So whenever you're like, why? Whenever you get there, really, really reflect back. Like even reflect back to, August, let's say, 24th when the eclipse started. Look at where you are today. Like, what happened from August until now? Like, what were you showing? What you're like, oh my God, boy, I need to make changes. Or boy, I need to end my relationship. Or. Really pay attention to that. But I don't want to end my relationship, or I don't want to. I understand. However, if we don't pay attention, this is when expect the unexpected happens. And, the eclipse can be like that rude awakening. Oh, we're like, oh my God. Like, believe me, I had so many expected unexpected. I wasn't surprised. I was actually kind of expecting that and relieved. I was shown certain things, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so grateful. Thank you. It wasn't, pleasant, but I'm like, thank you for at least confirming that to me. So, Katie, been stuck lately. What about spiritual work, light, mediumship skills and practice? What about spiritual? What part of a spiritual group and it did not work out too well, did not feel supported? Yeah, so this is really important. Like when you are connected with soul tribes, Soul tribes are people where you can be yourself. There's groups everywhere. And if you're not feeling that, you know what, I don't feel I belong here, or I don't feel that um like I'm being accepted, or I feel that I'm being judged, or all of those kinds of things. Those aren't your groups. Yeah, but I really wanted to. Those aren't your groups. It's like somebody who, let's say, tries to copy somebody to do something, exactly. I've had that happen to me where certain people try to copy certain things, and I don't say anything, I'm like, really? But if that is not who we truly are, if you're not being authentic, if this is something who we truly are, you won't hold that vibrational frequency to be involved and stay with that. The universe will take it away from you. This is why you have to be yourself, because, we all have different, abilities. We all have different talents and gifts and such, and this is why it's so important for you to really follow what you're really passionate about, what you're really interested in. And when you do that, you'll see that, wow, I'm really enjoying this course. Let's say if you decided to join a course, sign up for a class that you feel that, wow, I'm actually interested in it, you would do really well with that. Because when you're doing that, like my photography, as I mentioned, right? I mean, I have a very passion for photography. I've met incredibly amazing people and new doors, been away on assignments for all kinds of things. I'm not a pro, but it's like I just love it. I'm very passionate about it. So when you follow what you're passionate about, it doesn't matter what it is. This is when you're going to come across more and learn more about who you are, because you're being authentic. You're being your true self. So, but what if my friends or my family don't want me to become this or to do that with my career? Is it not your path? Is it not your journey? It has nothing to do with them. So, spiritual groups, like even, I've taken, different classes many moons ago, many, many, many years ago, and met gurus and one-on-one sessions and taken classes, workshops, all of those kinds of things. And there were certain teachers I didn't connect with or whatever, but it's really important to say, okay, what did I learn from that? Because, rather than, oh my God, that was disastrous, or I didn't like that. Yes, I've been to certain classes like that. I'm like, oh my God. But it's important to say, what did I learn from that? What did it show me? What did it teach me? That's not my teacher, or that's not the right group for me, or geez, that's not the right time. This is how we learn. This is how we learn. So it's really important to feel that support, unconditionally. Like my photography groups that I belong to, I feel 100% supported, like supported. You know what I mean? So where, let's see, if I joined other things, I'm like, I don't feel supported in that. I've left opportunities myself, different groups, different things like that, because I don't connect with those people at all. No way. For my own reasons, right? Where there's certain other people and groups and communities I belong to where I feel really accepted, and all of that. That's your group. Those are your people. So it's really important to do that. But I used to belong to this and this and that. As we evolve and change and start to see things, there are people and relationships we do walk away from. It could be friends, it could be family, it could be like it could be anybody. That's our journey of self-discovery, right? So, there's soul tribes all around the world. I mentioned I have not physically met certain people. Some of them, yes, I have. But it's like energy is energy. You're going to feel supported. You're going to feel that, you know what, I can really talk to this person about something, or we have a disagreement. That's natural. We all have disagreements, and I mean that's part of life. However, let's take a look at how did we resolve that situation. Nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. That's life, right? There's no such thing as perfect. Believe me, even there's not, right? Like there is not. So hope that give you a little bit of insights, right? Just be open, Katie, and always be yourself, be authentic. This is what I said to people, like, it's like, you have to be authentic, because if you are not authentic, it's not going to work out for you. Like, I literally saw some, just to give you an example without naming names, I literally was watching somebody who who was a friend, and she would put in her stories how all of a sudden she's a clairvoyant, how all of a sudden she's an animal communicator, how all of a sudden she's a photographer. And I'm like, oh my God, you're none of those things. Like, and I'm like, really? Just certain things like that. So of course it's not going to work out for her because she's not being authentic. It crashes down on you karmically in many different ways. So whatever you're pursuing, you're a very artsy person, I'm seeing, very creative, colorful, Katie, is what I'm seeing for you, by the way. So be yourself and you will find the right people. Believe me, like, I used to, many years ago, I used to run offices, like companies and stuff like that, and corporate world, and making big money, and and I hated it. At the end, I'm like, I'm not. And I remember my boss told me, Jenny, you got to get yourself a conservative haircut. I'm like, pardon? No, no, you can't wear your hair like that. It has to be short. It has. I was done. I'm like, this is just not me, right? We all have different things we have to go through, and so on. It's part of who we are from our other lifetime. I actually did a past life reading for a client, just to show you guys what the past life reading is all about and everything. So I think my team's going to be putting it up here pretty soon, today or tomorrow sometime, right here on YouTube. So it'll give you an idea of, your past life, as well, of who you are now because of all your other lifetimes, and so on and so on. You'll see it when the video comes up. So Anna, is there anything for me to look forward to in 2026? I would start writing down. I'm not going to give you a full blown out reading. You can always book a private reading with me, soulworkwithjeni.com, and I can give you a full blown out reading, with every single thing. Here is just pretty much to, let's communicate. I can answer a couple of your questions for you, give you a couple of my insights. But that's a full blown out reading. You can book a reading with me, no problem whatsoever, right? So, if we want to look at 2026 and 2027, I will be giving you I did predictions for this year, for 2025, and a lot of it's come true and happened and is currently happening now, right? So just to kind of give you guys a little bit of insights, that's why you should, make sure you're subscribed here and stay tuned here, because I'm going to be giving a lot of insights to 2026, 27. So this is really important right now, to look at what you guys want. Like, what life do you want? This eclipse energy is showing you bits and pieces of destiny, fate. Today, also, too, at the 12th, for those of you who missed it, really pay attention to incoming messages. Like, go back and watch my Cosmic Vibes video, because you'll see certain dates. I will tell you certain things will happen. Really pay attention to incoming messages today. There's a significance to that. It's not like you get a little message from your friend and say, hey, let's do coffee. No, like if you got all of a sudden get a message coming in from something of, oh my God, that's the job I wanted, or oh my God, they asked me for an interview, or this person asked me out on a date, like, you know what I mean? Like something more significant, let's say. Really pay attention, because the energy right now, what you are working on during this eclipse season, by the way, you're going to see those results coming in the springtime. Depending where you are, on the world, we're moving into the equinox here, 22nd of September. I love the autumn and the fall where I'm at. Do a lot of photography. I love it. Or depending where you're at, you could be moving into the spring. So what you've been preparing for during this eclipse, let's say, season of the eclipse and so on, you're going to see more of those results coming through February, March 2026. So basically this year that you guys have been working on and ending and all of these things, you're setting yourself up for 2027. 2027, actually, I'm just getting some insights. 2027 is a huge year. It's going to be such a huge year. Sacred journey, very sacred journey, needless to say. I actually just hearing a message from spirit. Sorry, I get messages 24/7 from the spirit world, but I think it's a message for me. But we're talking about these people here, the spirit, not me. So this is why it's really important to really pay attention to what's not working, right? This isn't working. That's not working. This isn't working. That's okay. If you're not passionate about it, if it's like, you know what, that's just not me anymore, that's not the right path for you. That's the spirit saying, there's ending. This is a year of completion, don't forget, you guys. This is also a year of the snake. The snake is about rebirth, healing, transmutation, and it's also about deceit. Deceit, truth being exposed. In the world we see it, but pay attention to, the people around you. And then it's like, wow, no thanks. I'm walking away from you. Never wish anybody the worst, right? So, this is so important for you guys to do this. Start writing it down, do your vision board, especially now during the eclipse season. Right now, I'm putting classes together, as I mentioned. That's a long-term thing. There's going to be a whole lot of different varieties for you guys to choose from with classes and all of that kind of stuff if you're interested. But that's the long-term project, right? Little bit by little bit. Work on what you're passionate about. Like, honestly, you guys, like that, I can't stress that enough right now. This energy with the eclipse, it's super powerful. We have that new moon coming in on the 21st of September as well, like another eclipse. This is new moons can be like really, really powerful, even more, because it's new. It takes away the dust. It removes things. Sudden passings away, sudden death. It's very expect the unexpected. But every day, as I mentioned with this eclipse, it is. So look back, you guys, start writing down what you want, what your goals are, what you don't worry about how it's all going to come together. You can always book a private reading with me to get all those details, right? So work with Jeni.com. And I'll give you a lot more insights there. Start writing down what you guys want. Oh, I want a new car, but I don't have the money. Don't worry about how you're going to get the money. Don't worry about when the car is coming. Write it down. Be very specific. The make, the model, the color, all of those things. Right? Like I do vision boards all the time, and you can add on to it. You can add on to it. And then when you look back on it, you're like, oh my gosh, I completed that. I completed that. Oh, maybe I don't want to do that anymore. I'm not so drawn. Don't worry about that. That's how you learn. That is how you learn. Like I've manifested a ton of stuff, ton of stuff, you know? So you have to be very specific with what you want. You really do, like there's a real key into that, but I'll talk about even all of that in my classes too. The tricks with that and everything like that. So this is the time, as I mentioned, for you guys. Take time for you, take time out for you always. But I'm really busy. I get it. Even if it's 15 minutes, even if it's like however long, the longer the better. Turn your phone off. Go for a walk in nature. You're going to want to be grounded during this eclipse. Go hug a tree. Go for a walk. Go for a hike. Move your body around, but don't push your body, especially this whole year of the Universal 9 number. If for some of you or for whoever you are, I talk about that. I don't care if you're an athlete, famous athlete or not. This is when you don't push, especially when you're doing stretches, especially during certain times. So I want to thank you guys for joining me here, right here on YouTube. As I mentioned, I'm going live every month here. Going to be doing some pre-clairvoyant readings. I took a little time off. I've had health issues and stuff like that myself. Getting things back on track, getting things, all of these things that we have to deal with and so on and so on. We get busy, we get certain things going on. It's like, you know what, I gotta take this pause and do this and do that, right? You have to do that no matter what. So And for those of you who want to book a reading, soulworkwithjeni.com, you can catch me on Instagram, Jeni Ji Cousins. My team puts postings up there as well. I'm all over the place. So thank you, everyone, for joining me and tuning in right here live on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed, like the videos, make some comments, let me know what's going on. Until next time, you guys, namaste.